Hey guys, it's Rod from Civil Advantage Firearms Training here. Today we're going to talk about the Condor Universal Thigh Rig Holster. Wow, what a mouthful. But nonetheless, long name, pretty interesting piece of kit. So the reason why I was thinking of buying this thing in the first place is I started putting lights on all my guns, which you should do if you're going to ever use them for anything other than the middle of the day or on the range. So you should have lights on stuff, and I didn't have any holsters that would accommodate lights because I spent money on Blackhawk holsters, which I love, great products, but all of those holsters are made for the gun, and they're made for a gun with no light. Then my other option is to start buying Safariland stuff, which make a super high quality product. You can get the holster platform and then all the different holster inserts for all the guns without lights, all that stuff. Safariland, phenomenal stuff. But I'm just not at the point where I'm going to make that investment yet. I'm still kind of into the whole guns and ammunition thing. So I took a chance. I went online and I bought this $25 holster. And how it works is basically you stick the gun that you want to put in the holster, you put the gun right in here. After you open the thing up, you put the gun in the right position, and you close this thing and you wrap it up again. Boom, holster. Now, I looked at this online and went, you know, for 25 bucks, it can't be any good, but you know, I'm crazy enough to send $25 to somebody and try it out anyway, which I did. And you know what? It's really, really good. It works for exactly what I wanted it for. It'll work with any gun, with or without a light. So again, $25, no risk there. You can't beat the price. Will it work with a SIG with a great big fat weapon light on it? Let's try it. Put the gun in here, position it the way you want it, wrap the sucker up, and it actually does close around a big fat gun like this. And boom, got a holster that accommodates your light. Now, as the guns get bigger, the holster tends to twist a little bit, but that's really no big deal. Other than that, I mean, how can you go wrong with that? Drop leg, the buckles are pretty nice. This is more than long enough to go around anybody's leg, almost anybody, I would imagine, certainly mine. Downsides, the retention is terrible. You have a couple of pieces of Cordura here and a snap. And I have another holster, I think it's a Blackhawk Omega. I'm thinking Omega 5, but I might be mistaken, but anyways, I got it for a 1911. It had a similar type of retention on it, a couple of pieces of Cordura with a snap, and if you slam your thumb down on this thing, it will unsnap. On this holster, it doesn't. It's just too flimsy. So now I found myself fighting with this retention system a little bit, which makes it not so great. But anyway, what do you want? It's 25 bucks, right? And it'll delay for a little while. You're having to buy all new holsters for all your guns that accommodate lights, should you want to use them. So anyhow, so the retention isn't that great. It's not the smoothest holster in the world, but when it starts fitting right, it actually works pretty good. Next thing, next downside, there's only one point of attachment to your belt, which does cause the holster to do a little bit of this when you're running around. I'm not going to complain too much about that, but you know, I'm just kind of used to a Blackhawk holster that has two points of connection to your belt, and of course, so this whole thing's wrapped around you, plus the platform that Blackhawk, it's turning into a big Blackhawk commercial, so, but the platform that Blackhawk makes is, you know, wraps right around your leg. It's quite nice, so wasn't used to that. Now, something that they did that was just almost pure genius is they put a snap here. So get this. I'm on the range, I bring this thing out for the first time. I got this SIG with this big ugly undergun light. It's the only undergun light, and it's an inexpensive one that'll fit on this crazy rail on my NP22. So I've got this holster on, and I'm like, okay, well, I got to reshape this to the NP22. And I undo the buckles from my leg. I look down, I see the snap, and I go like this. So I didn't even have to take my belt off, which I had a bailout bag on there, or sorry, a dump pouch, a recovery pouch, some people call it, on my belt. I had a vest on. I didn't want to gear down or whatever. Boom, just undo the snap. I can lay this thing out, redo it for another pistol. So that was actually really cool. Anytime you want to take the holster off, just unsnap it. So another great thing. So it does wiggle around. The only other downside I would say to this is you have no actual trigger protection like you do with a holster that's made for the gun you're putting in it. Again, like a Blackhawk or a Safariland. You know, they're made for a specific model of gun. This is not. So there's no trigger protection. Keep your finger off the trigger, for God's sakes. You're never in a rush to reholster. There's no such thing as a speed reholster, not that I've ever seen. So you got all the time in the world to make sure your finger's not on the trigger. And you know, the trigger is not exposed when the gun is in the holster, but still, I mean, there's a potential for something to get in there or whatever. Maybe pull the trigger if it's, maybe a reholster double action pistol with the hammer cocked, right? You got 3-pound trigger pull in. So I don't know. That's the only other thing I can think of. But the verdict, guys, is this is an essential piece of kit. For 25 bucks, this is a great spare holster to have kicking around in case you forgot your other holster or whatever. Or maybe you're just trying to pass a little bit of time to get the budget to buy something good like a Safariland or a Blackhawk. So really impressed with this. If you've had some experience, you have some comments, place them below. Also, guys, don't forget, we have a Twitter feed now. So the Twitter thing, I'm kind of new to it. I'm going to be tweeting, as it were, not to be confused with twerking, but I'm going to be tweeting probably, I don't know, twice a week or something. I'm not going to get too into it, but sometimes I find some interesting gear or an interesting article or something I want to share with you guys. So please follow me on Twitter and also see us on Facebook too, Civil Advantage on Facebook. Other than that, you can see us on the web. All these ways to hear more from me, like that's something you want to do. You can always find us on the web at www.civiladvantage.com. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.